Hello, Sam from Sound on Sound magazine here. I'm at Superbooth in Berlin. I'm in the Arturia cavern. I'm with Edward. Hello, Edward. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you.
Indeed. And we're standing behind a not new product that's newer than it seems, because this is a Microfreak with new firmware.
Yeah, not a new shell, but a news from the inside, I would say. Yeah.
So the main focus of the new firmware is sampling.
Yeah. Basically, we have a few news, like small stuff, some small improvements, like new envelope modes for more sharpness, and a new polyphonic modulation that you can generate with the keyboard tracking to generate random values, which is quite useful for the sample engine actually. Maybe I can show it to you later. But here, most of the news are oriented towards the engine, because this is where we have the most, creativity and so on. And we decided to come up with another update to come alongside this new edition of the Microfreak, which is kind of oriented towards sample and granular synthesis. Yeah.
So it's not sampling in the sense of just sort of making it sound like a piano. This is a slightly more creative and left field approach to sampling.
Yeah, I don't think that's the spirit of this instrument. I guess the keys are not really suited for piano anyway.
No, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah. Maybe I can try to introduce you to the new sample engine. So I'm going to start from a blank preset maybe. And so basically, as you probably know, we have many different types of engines. And as soon as you reach the sample engine here, you dive into the sampling mode and you can browse basically factory samples, holding shift and turning type. And here you have different samples from some normal instruments, for example, to voices and weird noises, up to kind of like a wavetable like sounds and stuff like that.
Getting up.
Digital sound oscillation.
Yeah, so you have probably a wide variety of sounds that are really curated to be used with the granular engines, basically. Maybe in the first place I can start with some wavetable-like sounds. So these are really good because if you're using the granular engine and you scan through the sample, it can behave like a wavetable somehow. So the first mode, the sample mode, is pretty basic actually. You can control the start position. The start position with the first knob. The second knob is like the length of the loop. So you can go super short. And if you go to the -0 values, you can play reverse. So if I set my start at the very end, I'll play the sample in reverse. So if I change the samples to something like maybe an instrument, like a harp, you can play reverse stuff like this. Yeah, I'll play it paraphonic. So this is the very basic of the instrument. So if you just want to play back sounds or play reverse, it's really nice to do that. And then for the other mode, all the core principle was to take a lot of different parameters, because in granular synthesis you need a lot of different randomization parameters and so on to get interesting. And we had to trim it down to 3 knobs all the time. So we came up with a first engine called the scan grain. And the scan grain is basically really good to do like time stretch sounds. What it does actually is, so I'm gonna try to get a vocal sample for this. Like this. Let's go with the voice. And what it does well is that it mimics like some kind of time stretch that you would use in Django and so on. So the first parameter, instead of controlling the position of the start, it will control the speed at which the start will move towards the end of the sample. So the playhead is always moving, basically. So
digital sound oscillations.
You see?
Digital sound.
Yeah, and what you can do then is change the density of the sample
Sound
and make it fast.
oscillation.
And you can add chaos with the last parameter called shape. Yep, like this. So this is the first mode. It's really nice if you want to do this kind of textures. And it's all condensed in 3 knobs, basically. The next mode is more classic approach of granular synthesis. So I'm going to select a new sound for this one. Let's take something like more like a chemical or something. Maybe this. Yeah, this would work. And on this one, you can control manually the start position. Basically. You can also control the density of the... It's really nice to explore the sounds. And you remember I told you we have a new kind of modulation, which is called randomness on the keyboard tracking. And so I'm just checking that it's enabled. Yeah. And when I do like this, each time I will press a key, I will have a random value that is generated, and it's polyphonic. So what I can do now is maybe map this to the start position of my wave, so that each time I press a key, I will have a different timbre, like this. It's very convenient. And the other parameters are quite similar to the previous mode, except the last one. There is a density. And the last one is chaos, so it adds randomization to the sample. Yep. So this is the second mode, and the last mode, the third mode, sorry. And the last mode is called hit grains. And this one is basically the same as before, but it has the third knobs controls the shape of the grains. So you can go from something very steppy like this to something very smooth. Yep. So stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's basically what you can do and explore and start
It's
playing
like
with.
a whole new synthesizer, really.
Yeah, it's let's say it's a new facet of the whole spectrum, and it's really, really nice.
And this is a free update for existing owners.
Absolutely, like it's a free update for everybody. It's not just because you have the hardware that you possess this update. Everybody can get it. You have approximately 2 minutes of sample that you can store on your machine. We provide a factory library that is pretty well balanced between like spectral, voices, drums, a lot of different things to explore. But you can also replace all the samples and import yourself your own sounds. So the firmware should be ready in like a half a month or something. We're just like finishing to like polish the file transfer and so on. And as soon as it's ready, people can get on it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Edward.
Thank you very much.